not sure how to interpret this. It looks like an anti-suicide note. This is up on the at.has, Queensboro. Well, here's another clue. I think I was right about that first one. I don't know what order these were, in which these were written. I don't know what Delude 22 means. No suicide permitted. Got caught. I wonder what happened here. You know, this fence was not always here. I think it went in about 15 years ago. But I remember the first several times I walked over here, I thought this railing seemed low at times, meaning this railing. But if this fence was intended to stop people from jumping off of this bridge, I think that's kind of a feeble attempt. If anything, it might even make the challenge, make the risk seem all the more rewarding. I don't know. And in related, whatever, I saw this blip fly by on a news ticker that said 988, the new suicide shortcut hotline phone number is supposed to go nationwide in May. I think it's already active in a bunch of states, but it's supposed to be everywhere in May. But they're saying that the system is already overloaded. I don't know what that means exactly. Does it just mean they don't have enough operators, or I don't know. In the meantime, like if you're up here and you're thinking of jumping, you're supposed to use this thing. And I'm not even going to open this because these call boxes, as I learned from hard experience, if you even open that door, it sets off an alarm somewhere. And if you open it multiple times, that causes somebody to think that you're distressed and distraught to a point that you can't decide whether or not to pick up the phone. But there is a phone in there. I have opened the box, and it's a solid-looking handset. That also looks like a Wi-Fi antenna on top. But anyway, that's kind of eerie. Those two paintings I just saw on the railing. The river did not tempt me. And I have to figure out what Delude or Delude 22 means. So let's see if these old booths are still lingering on Lexington. Moldering away. Lexington and 57th. That ambulance should be coming to haul this thing off to the morgue. Now look at this. Takes a special kind of OCD. I saw this happening a couple of years ago before the pandemic, and then I didn't see it for a long time. Somebody was going to, it seemed like, but some person or a bunch of people were going around, seeming every single one, it seemed like, and tying him up like this in these really elaborate knots. If I was ever a Boy Scout, I might be able to tell you what this knot is, but I don't know my knots. The smell of piss is fairly strong in this one, but it's not as bad as others. And this is the one with the area code from someplace that is not New York. I don't remember where 406 is, but they brought this phone in from somewhere else. Foundation's coming apart. I always forget about this one when I start my I guess it's weekly now. That can't be good. And by the way, this little placard is like a little window into the past. I mean, so is this whole payphone, but when you would see this yellow Phone 1 logo, you'd either see it on a placard like this, or you might see it on the handset. You'd see it like there. That was your signal that this was a phone that you could use to make cheap international calls. Verizon hooked up with a company called Phone 1 that had mastered the art of making the international calls in the cheapest ways possible. So you could call Bogota and Guatemala. Looks like somebody tried to peel this off, but I don't really want to, but don't want to cut myself. I did get a tetanus shot within the last 10 years though, so I should be okay. Anyway, I can't get back all the way to get this whole frame, but this will have to do it. What is the and there's a bunch of junk on top of it. That's a cardboard box broken down, but the metal stuff underneath it is the solar panel. It's not strictly garbage, although it might as well be. Lexington and 57th. This is one I don't check in on too often. Or, I guess it's going to be here. I came down here because I need to get a mask. I left mine at home. This is Lexington and 53rd, I believe is the... I love waterfalls, by the way. I just love the sound of flowing water, especially when accompanied by blaring sirens. And this one died a long time ago. And TTY's dead, everything's dead. I wonder how much coin revenue is in there. I'm running low on my radio cards, but I'll leave one here. This is how they give you the mask. Thought she was passing me a cigar. I actually like the masks they give out at the MTA. I'll unwrap this and show you. See, they're the cloth kind, washable and reusable. Or at least I've been washing and reusing them. I don't think they're infinitely reusable, but I would have expected them to use the cheapo sort of light blue, light purple colored ones. Anyway. If I remember the correspondence correctly, the last time I got my mail down in the basement at Rockefeller Center should indeed have been the last time I get my mail down there. After 30 years. Boo-hoo, right? The new location is supposed to be down here. Yeah, I see the door already. Maybe slightly more glamorous than the basement. And if it means I don't have to go up and down a flight of stairs, I won't be complaining. Although I don't see the boxes up here, so.
So there's this.
Oh, there they are. Okay, let's see what happens. Am I not allowed in?
What? It's not open yet. Monday.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Okay, I was wrong. I saw the people inside and figured it was open, but I guess they're just getting it ready. Well then, this will be the last time I get the mail in the basement. And I guess I'll document that for old time's sake. This used to be where the AP was, Associated Press. As a friend who used to work there, always said, you can't spell cheap without AP.
Dana said this, Limani.
But I guess they're not here anymore because their logo used to be on that thing. And on that side too, I think. So this should be the last time I do this, at least for the purpose of getting my mail. This is where I got my passport. It used to be the passport window. Or maybe it was this one. I don't know. It doesn't matter. I got my passport in one of those two things. Not expecting any mail today. Nothing significant, at least. Yeah, I've been getting this New York Book Fair postcard for probably 15 or 20 years now. I guess I went to one of these once. I guess I'm not even going to have the same box. The same physical box. Let's do this one last time. So many great missives landed here. And I guess they'll continue to do so in the future, just at the new location. And we'll see. I've been looking for any excuse to get rid of this thing because it's gotten so expensive, and it's not like its value increases over time. But I mean, I can't like rent it out. I can't sublet it. Anyway, I know where both of these are going. Okay, I was going to say something to Miss Adams if she was there, but she's not. At least she's not up front. I guess she's going to go over to the new location. Why wouldn't she? These are the lockers that they put in for signature ready, or whatever they called it. Signature on file. So if something required a signature, you didn't have to sign for it. They would just put it in one of these. But they also put parcels that were too big for my P.O. box. They started doing that during COVID. They didn't want to hand off anything more than they had to. What was funny about the letter they sent out with respect to this relocation was when they said, this will be a seamless move. There will be no disruption of any kind. First of all, how do you even know that? But their record for that kind of thing has a big red mark on it, a big X. See if they still have the phone books. Yeah, I hope they're bringing these with them, but I don't know why they would. Manhattan white pages from 2007. I mean, yellow pages. I thought that said drug dealers. Carpets and drug dealers. And you want to hide your drugs in the carpet, right? Yeah, this one's not as interesting, just a zip code guide. So much fine print. Let's find my home zip code. We're in Tallahassee here. There it is. Yeah, 33613 was one of those little changes in life that stuck with me forever. Because when we moved in, the zip code was 33612.
Tell him to find his own.
And after I don't know how many years, they made it 33613. And I've never been able to think of a zip code without remembering that it changed. That's another zip code thing. Anyway, I bet they're not taking these with them to the new location. But. And this is not the original post office. They renovated. That's what I was getting at with the big X on their record was, oh, give me a minute here. Was some years back, they renovated this post office. And for I don't know how many months, mail got sent to just some random room in Rockefeller Center. There were no boxes. Everybody's stuff was just thrown onto a bunch of tables and sorted, or so they said. It was sorted and organized. And but every time I went, I'd be handed a stack of mail that was addressed to somebody other than myself. And everybody experienced the same thing. It was just a freaking disaster. I wonder how much mail of mine just got lost forever. And when I said the light purple or light blue colored masks, I figured this is what the MTA was gonna be giving out. That's probably the cheapest kind. Anyway. Oh, by the way, you heard it here first. Or maybe you didn't. They're going to turn this into a roller skating rink. For the summer. I've never had any desire to ice skate out here, but I would be up for roller skating. I heard this on the radio, and one of the announcers said, after the person described it, the other announcer said, "Well, that gives me new reason to worry about sore ankles." And I was like, "What?" Maybe there was another story earlier about grabbing your ankles, but it sounded a little off to me. That little brief walkthrough was through the section that had been closed for probably a year. And this is the area that was never really changed. I mean, never changed at all. Maybe it will be, but this, of course, is the road to what is fast becoming the one and only working payphone in Midtown. In fact, if those phones at Penn Station are all gone, as I suspect they might be by now, I think that makes this the only working publicly accessible phone in all of Midtown, unless you count Union Square. But even there, that's in a subway station where you have to pay a fare to get at it. When I say publicly accessible, I mean there's no payment required to simply get at it. The sensuous sound of a Soothing dial tone. Oops. Please deposit 50 cents. Thank you. Sounding good. I don't think I've had any downtime for a few months now, since there was a spat of weird outages that I never figure out what happened with, but I don't care. It remains to be seen how much time this thing has before it turns into this. But for now, let's enjoy it while we can, right? The phone behind the turnstile. It really smells like something in here, but I'm not sure what. Citrusy. It's not pee, like it often is. Pretty much nobody down there was wearing masks, I noticed. Maybe they lifted the mandate for the concourse. I would have missed that memo. We got to unmask at work last week. Kind of cool to know what people look like once and for all. Like there's this one guy who seemed like a total straight arrow. Just a total worker bee. You take off the mask, you find he has a pretty fancy, well taken care of mustache. Mustachio. Didn't see that coming. Other people, it's just like you feel like it's not like they can breathe now, but it's like I can breathe. Looking at them now, I don't look at people and see this barrier between them and the air. You know, I don't look at people and think, wow, you must be like almost suffocating. That may have been the last time I hit the 181 at its current location, but it's not the last time I'll hit the old payphone down there. So next stop is Penn Station. Then on to back up to Grand Central. And I'm also going to see if I can swing up Madison Avenue to see if there's still a phone booth there. I forget what street it was off of, but 50-something, I think, off of Madison. I'll see if I get to that one. I don't know. Here's more of LinkNYC at its finest. This is supposed to be the video relay service. I'm supposed to be seeing my face right now, even though I don't think that's technically supposed to be allowed. Yeah, this isn't gonna work. This thing is just borked. Let's see what happens with this one. This is how you get to it, by the way. Accessibility, and then video relay. Yeah, okay, so this is doing what most of them do, but even at that, they're not supposed to be doing this. The camera is never supposed to activate without a connection to another person or another service. So that's just weird. So is this, by the way. Place. This would be pretty cool. Maybe I'll find one. I don't know if they do this in the other Link cities. I don't know if they have this in Philadelphia or Newark or in the UK. Say the masks are off. Some people still wearing them, but out in the open, I guess it's not necessary. And the mandate was lifted, so.
You want me to get it?
It's quite possible I know that guy in the Spider-Man suit. I used to be friends with a guy who ended up being homeless for about 2 years. He totally lost it after his mother died. Or she had already thrown him out of the house, but then she died. A mutual friend of ours encountered him on the subway, and he was like textbook homeless guy. You know, he was wearing 3 jackets and smelled like a garbage can, pissing all over himself. He said he was living in cardboard boxes off of this Times Square. After a while, though, he got his shit together. I don't know what happened. And he got a room in Flushing, and he got a job doing that stuff in Times Square, dressing up as Spider-Man, or I think they gave you a different costume every day. So that might have been him. Didn't really look like the physique that I remember, though. Wow, Broadway looks like it's back. Some of these theaters have payphones in them, but I'm not even going to bother. Or maybe I will. I mean, they're all dead. None of them work, but maybe that doesn't matter. It's just that with these crowds, I don't really see a need to be like, pardon me, excuse me, trying to get to the payphone here. There's a place right around here, it might even be this street, that had, for at one time at least, one of the busiest payphones in New York, but it wasn't a publicly accessible phone. It was inside I think it was a homeless shelter for seniors, a shelter for homeless senior citizens.
No, I want some my phone.
how many of us never thought we'd see this again?
Oh, you can take the box off.
I mean, how many of us thought that we would never see this again?
Yeah, I was like, what do you mean?
There's another reason to hate LinkNYC. It's gone now. That's it being gone so quickly is certainly one reason to hate the product, but their deliberate and willful decision to ignore the city ban on hard alcohol and liquor advertising on public property. I think they've earned their little place in court in municipal hell for that. I just found. I do have a USB floppy reader at home, but they don't include floppy. They haven't included floppy drives on computers for a long time now. I don't even think you can request it for a custom build. I wonder what this is about. Perhaps this is a little window in time.
Attention Amtrak Gasoline passengers. Please check your travel document for your reserved car and seat number prior to boarding at your car location as displayed on the platform. Thank you for choosing Amtrak. Attention please. Now boarding on track 4 both east and west gates is the New Jersey Transit 1:43 p.m. North Jersey Coast Line on route to Long Branch. Making stops at Secaucus, Newark Penn Station, Newark Airport, Broadway, Allentown, Newport, Firth and Moore, South and Moore, Evergreen Valley 1, Hezbollah, Midtown, New Jersey, Red Bank, and Little Silver, terminating at Long Branch. Please watch your step and face forward at all times.
Well, I have visual. Visual on 4 of them, so
do not sit on the steps or the handrails.
they're still there in form.
Baby strollers, push carts, and grab carts or similar devices are not permitted on the escalator.
This one's by track 15. And I don't expect this one to ever work again. I also assume these two will be done. Indeed. NDT. One of the weirder things about when I started doing my Payphone website was when folks would send me payphone numbers and they would tag them NDT for no dial tone. And it was strange for me because my father's initials were NDT, Norman D. Thomas. And my father was a big fan of my websites. So I pointed out to him that it was funny that he had his initials all over it, all over that site at least. And it was my father and I who first, it was our travels together through Central Florida where I first started to think of payphones as a singular thing, a singular object, because we drive all over Central Florida looking for them. That's because at the time he was thinking of getting in on the business, because that was when the deregulation thing had happened, and could get in. But he never did. I think he decided it was just a money pit, and he would have been right. So this one might still work, this next one. If nobody's using it, I can get at it. Okay. This one should still work. Yes, it does. And do I have any more quarters on me? Indeed I do. Let's see here. There's your number, by the way, if you can read that. This is very hard to do with just one hand. That's what she said. Let's see how it sounds. Yep, sounds good. But because I can, I think I'll do this again. Last one, I dumped in a couple of extra quarters. I'll do that here too. That'll keep the call going a little longer. So if anybody wants to pick up and listen, they'll have a little extra time to do that. I think if I remember right, it's 50 cents for 15 minutes, and then every quarter after that is good for 10 extra minutes. So this should be good for 35 minutes or more, because I also threw in a dime. But look at that, the scaffolding's already gone up around Hotel Pennsylvania. Used to have a whole long row of payphones, a big payphone room. And this is where they used to do the hacker forum. I mean, the hacker, what do you call it? Conference. Yeah, the Hope Conference. Hackers of planet Earth. And the payphone room was always a fascination for those guys, as you might expect. But it's all coming down, and I hope they got their payphones out of there. For redeployment, at least. I kind of doubt that they did, but we'll see. Or no, we won't. I'll probably never know if they did that. I used to be able to get a look at a couple of them through the door behind here, but that's been closed off for a while now. Oh, that's not even it. Yeah, it's all completely scaffolded off now. There was a door on one of the sides where you could just barely get a glimpse of the payphones within, but and this actually might have been it. Cleverly labeled door. Oh, wait a minute. Oh wow, look, you can see it now. This was blocked before. That thing's going to get demolished just along with everything else. It's weird. I wonder why it says women only. I'm sure there's a good reason. Anyway, that may be the last you ever see of the Hotel Pennsylvania payphone. like they cleaned up the one on 37th Street. This had some pretty solid graffiti on it last time. Unless I'm misremembering, as I sometimes do. So they clean up the ad panels, but they don't do anything with the phones. It's all about the ads. And there's still a little bit of Smirnoff left in this bottle. Yeah, I think there was serious graffiti on this side too. So this one is still hanging in there. My real goal today was to check on 42nd Street, and I guess that's where I'm headed next. So here you have it, though. They do continue to maintain these things, but only in the interest of making the ads viewable. The phones are this kind of cynical amenity, that, as they would claim. They would claim that this is an amenity. That's part of how they got all their privilege back in the day. To put all this advertising all over the place, all over public property. So they were providing a public service and an amenity, but that was just a cynical ruse. I love the sound of flowing water.
They do with some right. So always yeah. Also, Norway's not part of the
None of us have really been rowing. We just like many of us that are not talking about it are like
Now I know. Yeah. It's like this beer I should have had one person. My friend Sabrina and I took that. Я уже какой-то нашла. Like you definitely feel it, but it doesn't. Like if I stuck in needles, I would be in pain, you know. Yeah. But they just like know how to do it. That doesn't hurt at all. All that jazz. I was definitely very relaxed.
They didn't come, but in the middle, Lauren showed up to visit.
En el ático tengo algo, el ático también.
Some of them have it on it.
I don't want to get my hopes up, but from this distance, I think they're gone. Those filthy, disgusting, like they made my eyes water. There was so much smell of. That was a perfect time for the battery to run out. All right, so I think they're finally gone. I see in the distance that familiar hulk of decrepitude, that familiar festering phone is replaced by some barricades. Like I said, I should be the last one to say this, but I wish they could have got rid of these things a long time ago. They were disgusting. That means all these phones off of Fifth Avenue. There were like, I think 10 of them left between 42nd Street and Rockefeller Center, just off of Fifth Avenue. And they're gone. Looks like somebody named Bad Jackson took their place. They were doing cement repaving in my neighborhood, and I scribbled Sorabji into one of them, but they came back not long after I did that and smoothed it over. So Bad Jackson got there at a good time, I guess. He's probably going to be here for the next 20 years. But man, those were disgusting payphones. They really were. I don't think the barricades are there on account of the phones being gone. I don't think that matters. I think they're probably setting up for a parade or something. Because there's other barricades over on Fifth Avenue. Oh, that's right. There would have been a parade today, wouldn't there? Is it St. Patrick's Day? Is that today? I don't know. I don't care, but the barricades aren't there on anything, not kind of anything to do with the phones being gone. I don't think. That's right. It is St. Patrick's Day, and when they do these parades now, they put these locks and barricades on the mailboxes, so nobody leaves a pipe bomb in them. Although you really can't get anything into these anymore, since they got rid of the folding door or the opening door and replaced it with a narrow thing. That was because there had been an explosion in phishing of people plucking envelopes out of the mailboxes and I guess cashing checks or whatever. So you really don't think you could get any kind of respectable pipe bomb into these things now, but they still put the barriers on them anyway. Yeah, this is 46th Street. I'm pretty sure this is it for Madison, or off of Madison. That's the graffiti that was on the side of the other, the one on 6th off of 6th Avenue and 37th. I think it was the same stuff. Look at this. Need pussy, use phone. Story of my life. It goes both ways, by the way. Well, it's intact. At a glance, at least, it's not in horrible shape. except for all the graffiti. This feels like I'm in a 1970s subway.
Yeah.
Or was that 80s? I don't know. I get my decades mixed up. No graffiti on this side, but somebody is using it as storage. I don't know what's in the bags. No particular stench of piss. Guess they keep it classy on Madison. This part. Better days are coming. What do the numbers mean? It's like almost looking normal, isn't it? Or maybe it is normal. Whatever normal was. I sometimes get funny looks for entering this room without a ticket. Just looking from the outside. It's Grand Central Station Master's office. I mean, I get weird looks not because I'm not ticketed, but because I'm taking video of a fucking payphone. Time I used this one, I had to give up my call because this older woman was standing nearby scowling at me, waiting to use the phone. And this was modern times. This was the last few years. As I always say, people would still use payphones if only they could. These things were all retired, but this one looks like you could actually use it to send a letter. Is that does that say cutler or cutter? Can't really read this in here, it's too dark, but these are supposed to have something on it that says exactly where this is, and it's zip code. But I say this looks like you could really use it because the letters thing is open. Maybe I'll do this just for fun. I'll send myself a postcard and see what the postmark looks like. Oh wow, I think it's still there. It is. My card is still there from last week. I don't remember if I posted that video, but I remember saying that usually if I put it up here, it's obvious enough that a janitor or whatever is going to see it and throw it out. But this I thought was a little more hidden. And so far I seem to be right. That's that Phone 1 logo. I think I was talking about it in an earlier spot today. That and the yellow handset was the signal, was the code that you could use this payphone to make cheap international calls. Think about how many phones used to be here. I mean, there were 6 on this bank. And down that way, I think there were 12. And that sounds like a lot, but seriously, it's like at any given moment, the ratio of phones to people was probably 1 phone to 1,000 or 1 to 500, or I don't know. Talking about how many, just whatever the steady population of Grand Central was on a given day. So you got 1 phone for every 500 people. Just say, I was totally making that number up, but whatever the ratio was today, it's like 1 phone for every person. And maybe more than 1 phone. There's probably more than 1. It's probably like 1.2 to account for people who, for whatever reason, have multiple phones. Yeah, I mean, this looks like it was a lot of phones at one time, but really it was probably never quite enough to meet demand, since half of them probably didn't work. Anyway, I'm not going to do the downstairs ones today, the ones in the passages. I got to get home. But my little card is holding on. Hanging in there. It's strange to just like walk around town and see this little piece of me that I leave behind.
Don't fall forward. Watch the gap getting on and off your train.
Like, you it yourself, you've done nothing. And then like, that was it. It's like, she's died. Yeah, but no, we don't just do it. We just tell people a couple extra 100,000, everyone's always here.
I haven't seen this in a while, and I'm not sure this is even going to be visible on the video. Got like looks like a Linux core dump or something like it. It's a lot of exclamation points. I don't know what this means, but I don't think you can get any kind of entrance point into the network by reading this shit.